Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Cloud Show. Today, I'm going to talk to two gentlemen who are actually, I think it's maybe the first time I have two people on my show. It's cool. So, we're going to talk about something that I believe this industry right now can't get enough of talking about. We are going to talk about generative AI. And two experts are with me on The Cloud Show today who have written a book on the topic and who works with this extensively and in detail. So the experts, the stars of the show tonight, is Paul and Anu. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. Hi, Magnus. Hi, everyone.
It's good to have you on the show. Welcome to the Cloud Show.
Excited to be here. Thank you for having us.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's jump into it straight away and intro you guys. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. Thank you, Magnus. I can start. My name is Paul Singh. I'm currently a principal cloud solution architect with Microsoft, covering data and AI. This is a technical role, so I provide guidance to our customers and organizations who are adopting the Microsoft Azure cloud technology, specifically around the data and AI domain. I focus on professional services companies primarily at this time, so large Fortune 50 companies.
Yep. So that's huge.
Yeah. I'm based in Northern California, so lots of sunshine here, sometimes too much. And
nice.
I'm currently working on also a side project for my personal time. I'm volunteering for a nonprofit organization that's focused on STEM growth. They're called Human Bulb. And what they do is they help underprivileged students and also business leaders on better understanding technologies and how to adopt new technologies like Gen AI, for example. So
fantastic. That's lovely. Okay, cool. Brilliant. And Anu, what's up with you?
Yes, similar to Paul, I'm a senior cloud solution architect specializing in data and AI, based out of New York, and it's quite hot here today. And so as a cloud architect, so I'm helping the C-suite executives on the data and AI strategy one day. The next day, it would be going more lower level with the engineering teams, right? Helping them unblock on technical stuff, and then also upskilling them on Azure AI products and services. My goal is to ensure that they are successful on Azure AI products and services, data and AI products and services.
Nice.
So that's about my role. Apart from work, I like running marathons, and also I mentor students in Africa, like through the Global Mentorship Initiative, like college students. So that's a little about me.
That's lovely, absolutely lovely. Okay, brilliant. Well, it's wonderful to have you guys on this show. Thank you for being part of the Cloud Show, and of course we're going to talk about your book. But I'd like to talk about what went into your book. We're going to want to talk about generative AI solutions architecture, that sort of stuff. What are the if you will the key components of this? Hey, we have a sign. Let's show the book. Let's do it. Let's do it straight away. This is the book. You see the names? All right, I see the names. And oh, he made it larger. Good. All right. So there's the book, Generative AI for Cloud Solutions. So let's talk about that. Like, what is this? When you're building generative AI solutions and you're architecting this, what goes into something like that?
Sure. Anu, do you want to start?
Sure. So this book is basically, it incorporates our experiences from the field, but when we were directly working with the customers, right? So last 1.5 years have been like extremely rewarding for us in terms of learning, like moving so many generative AI solutions to production. Like I have like 23 customers across media, entertainment, and real estate. Helped around 50 plus use cases. We guided them to production, and so this book consists of all our experiences, lessons learned, and how do you build that robust architecture, right? Gen AI architecture. We've also spoken from the core principles standpoint, the first principles like RAG, fine tuning. When do you use it, right? You don't need it all the time. When do you use it, one over the other? Different types of model. We spoke about multimodal, and how to operationalize it, and also, Paul, you want to add?
Yeah, sure. Of course, with any technical endeavor for an organization, there's the business strategy that's involved. So we want to talk about some of the areas where there's organizational changes that occur when adopting new technologies such as Gen AI.
Yeah, and this is moving fast now, right? I mean, it's generative AI. It's moving speed of light faster. It's so fast and it's growing so much, and everybody, I guess, wants to get in on that. It's like if you had a product before, and if it doesn't have the product, but now with AI, you're not on the train, right? It's like you're at the station.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we see every organization trying to at least understand and learn generative AI and trying to adopt it into their business processes. I mean, there's huge rewards. There's a lot of companies that have done some of the return on investment as well to determine
Yeah, but
how Gen AI can make their users, their internal people more productive.
yeah, so I guess that's part of it. I mean, using a service that somebody else created that has added AI capabilities, like Office 365, you could use co-pilots and things, right? That's one thing, but taking something AI into your own like organization and building something for you based on whatever business you're doing, that's something else entirely. And how do you go about as a business to understand, like we should also have some AI, I guess, because everybody says that everybody has to have that. And what should we do now? Like, what's the cat? How do you get going with this?
So what I would, I mean, other than buying the book and reading through, because we did design it, our approach was to,
All
have
right.
that new and understanding. But primarily, it's like if you don't understand the technology, you don't have to be an expert at it. However, I would recommend getting a basic understanding. YouTube videos or on other platforms. There's plenty of free documents out there and
Mm-hmm.
videos that are available. Watching cloud shows, of course,
Well, yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
So that's understanding the underlying principles is important.
So is there sort of a structured approach for a company to like, okay, we want to figure out AI for us, what it means for us, for our business? Like, how do you approach that? Is there like a breakdown thing you can do, or?
Yeah. So yeah, I think the first thing is to go do like a comprehensive ideation phase, right? And what we observed was hackathons were very successful. They were like breeding grounds for creative solutions,
Mm-hmm.
innovative solutions. It got a lot of innovation out of the employees. But you will see so many use cases come out of these hackathons. You don't want to do everything. You just want to narrow down on few of them that add value to your industry, to your business, right? That may be
Mm-hmm.
productivity boost. So one of the things we saw was the internal co-pilots, like using Azure OpenAI on your data. That was a big hit,
Right.
and those solutions picked up, and because it was like quick time to quick time to market, and like it was quick wins, and it gave immediate value, and we saw that a lot.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, hack away, like gather people, hack away, take some of your data and try to like do something, not production product yet, but that figure out what to do.
Correct. Get comfortable with the tools and the development process, and if there's
Nice.
any gaps in the organization, such as knowledge, training, then you identify those during the hackathon. Yes.
Okay. And so what when companies are doing, like you've mentioned here, you have been doing this with a lot of companies and a lot of projects. What are some typical challenges, pitfalls, problems that your customers run into? What is hard here, except learning the technology, I guess, but that's learning.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. Is, I mean, so some of it is human resource component as well, making sure you have the right staff. Some have to have developer background because you are developing
Mm-hmm.
against your own data. Although you leverage AI in the cloud, but there's still development against your own data. Um, I would also, some of the challenge is like things understanding the model behavior. They're called large language models, and each model has its own limitations on how much data it can process. So if you're an organization and you want to throw a large number of queries, questions, we call it prompts, against a model, just understand that there are limitations on any cloud resource.
So people are not understanding how to calibrate yet.
Not initially, no. And it's an iterative process. So there's a lot of testing that goes on against their own data and against different types of models. And newer models come out every day that are more efficient, lower cost as well. So there's some iteration process against that.
All right. So learn about these things and start testing and iteratively try out new things, new models, different approaches.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And one more thing is so we saw a lot of RAG-based solutions go into production. And now what we're seeing is the customer expectations are rising on the quality of the outputs of these RAG solutions. So what I would suggest is having an evaluation strategy early on that can really help you see surprises, help you stop seeing surprises later on, right? So doing initial assessment with different models and having a qualitative, quantitative metrics to assess the quality of the outputs, that really helps early on.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. It's something that you have to get into and really start doing, I guess, to really fully understand this process. But essentially, you're saying start doing something, and then try to qualify it, to get better and more focused on what you should be doing. But you don't know from the beginning, so at least do something.
Let me add, there's a lot of cloud vendors that provide this playground environment where you can test against these models.
Like Azure, for example.
Yeah, definitely. Azure, of course, Azure OpenAI, there's the AI.
We're allowed to say it. Okay, brilliant. So since this space is kind of moving so fast, because it really is, there's new models coming out all the time, it seems, and things are happening at not an alarming rate, but a very, very high rate. What are the latest trends? What's going on right now in generative AI?
Yeah, okay, I can start, and then I know Anu's got a few as well. But so Anu mentioned RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation, and this is using large language models against your own data. That's been around, but to increase the speed and also increase the response. There's newer technologies coming out, such as integration with knowledge graphs. So such as just AI graphs. A knowledge graph it's what it is. Instead of using vectors, which RAG uses predominantly currently, it's an intersection between Gen AI and knowledge graph. So knowledge graph can
Gen AI and what? A knowledge
graphs. Yeah. What these knowledge graphs do is they connect various data points and shows the relationship between those data within an organization. The outcome is more accurate results because if you do some prompts, sometimes you don't get the accurate results you're expecting. So we're seeing a lot of movement toward using more of an AI plus knowledge graph solutions.
Oh, interesting. So and just so happens that Microsoft has one of the largest graph database products that exist, or maybe the largest, right? Cosmos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And as a matter of fact, there's a new service, Cosmos AI Graph, that is based off of the knowledge graph plus AI.
That was not a leading question at all. Not even.
Thanks, Magnus.
But it's important, right? Everything is being adapted to being able to handle these types of services and demands. So every service is adapted to being able to take care of this with speed and accuracy and good money, right? It can't be too expensive as well.
And efficient, correct? Yeah.
Efficiency, yes.
We have a few others. Anu, you want to mention it?
Yeah, my top one is autonomous agents. We are seeing a lot of progress in this area. So autonomous agents are these are intelligent AI systems that can act independently, right, with little or no human intervention. They can do self-feedback and improve automatically, right? So these, I think, will have massive productivity boost because of this. And some of the use cases I see disrupting is call centers. You'll have a team of autonomous agents that can augment human capabilities and make them more productive. So that's one. I think it could be helpful even in education. It could provide more personalized education to students. So with having a team of autonomous agents. So I think that is going to be big. And also the market for autonomous agents is expected to grow to close to $30 billion by 2028 in North America alone. So That is one. The second one is multimodal. Like we saw a lot of uh, text-based solutions, generative AI solution. Now it's becoming images, audio, and then soon there'll be video generation models also, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
small language models is one more. I think that the trend we are seeing, which is going to be big for edge devices like smartphones and autonomous
Oh
vehicles.
yeah. So having a small large language model
Yeah, exactly.
in the palm of your hand.
Yep.
All right, brilliant.
Apple's working on that in their next iOS as well.
I think they are right.
Ah,
So
yeah, exactly. That's huge.
it's funny how everyone doesn't matter which company you are, you release something called whatever it was before plus AI in some
Sure.
way, shape, or form, right?
Sure. So
It's
this may be
interesting.
known as the Cloud Show plus AI, maybe. Who knows, Magnus?
I don't know. Like we couldn't possibly fit AI into. No, I'm
Uh,
kidding. All right. So one thing that is like so important as well in this space is around how do you take care of your AI solution, and how do you ensure that you are behaving fairly? I guess the word is ethically. This is of course a huge concern. So what does it take for an organization to ensure that they are being ethical in their AI approach, and what does that mean even?
yeah, great question, because you're right. It is very critical having a responsible AI, if you would. Responsible AI components such as there's fairness, reliability and safety, privacy and security, right? They're all
Yeah.
critical components in the overall Gen AI strategy. So
Mm-hmm.
when I talk to our customers, that's always a topic that we bring up right away. So, but I mean, cloud vendors like Microsoft have built-in support for many of these key functionality out of the box, and it's very configurable as well. So, if you want to configure it for your organization,
Right.
you can. Anu's actually an expert in the RAI space as well, so that
Are
is
you?
So I recently published a blog on this, so I would like to share that with the listeners later. But yeah, I mean, like just like Paul said, right, starting with those principles early on, thinking about all these privacy, transparency, accountability. There are six principles that Microsoft recommends, and thinking about the goals of your use case through the lens of these principles, then establishing an RAI strategy through people, process, and technology. When I say people, like having strong accountability systems, a governance system, like research, policy, engineering teams working together. And then from the process standpoint, having something like red teaming in your application development process. So red teaming is proactively probing for risks in your application, making sure they don't behave negatively, right? And then
Mm.
also designing metrics for risk and then measuring them at scale and using some tools like Azure Content Safety to mitigate those risks. And then at the technology level, like thinking about risk mitigation at every layer of technology stack. Like one of them is having meta prompts. It's like a simple solution, having like good, well-defined meta prompts that can, improve the behavior of your models. So things like that, and also making sure you select models that adhere to fairness and low toxicity and things like that. There are various benchmarks that can help you give you that
Mhm.
information.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So tell me, have you you don't have to mention any brand names because you can't, but have you found any customer case where they discovered that they had a lot of data maybe, but their data was there was bias in their data. They had challenges with that. Has that happened? Like, is that a thing that you look at your own data and you just realize that, oh wow, I didn't know that that was in there?
Yeah, there is. Primarily, we see it in HR areas as well. I won't go into details, but
No, you
there's a
can't go into
bias.
details. I'm not
Yeah,
asking you to,
exactly.
but
Yeah,
but effectively that, right? When you
yep,
once you crunch all your data and you start asking it questions,
yep,
a bunch of really weird things come out, and it's like, what is that in my data?
yeah. Some of it is,
Oh,
you'd be amazed, but yeah, data
yeah,
is data, and how you interpret is just another layer. Yeah, but definitely
exactly. Yeah. It's
having
interesting.
that responsible AI layer is critical in
Yeah.
every deployment. Yes.
So real, like as a final thing here for this quick conversation today, like can you give some advice on like starting the cloud and AI generative AI journey? Like what does a company do? Like as concise as possible if you can, but you know what I mean.
Go ahead, Anu.
Yeah, so my advice would be to start with something like an ideation phase, which I told you, right? Like if they are starting now in generative AI and like doing hackathons, which are a good breeding ground for like creative, innovative solutions,
Yep.
and then picking a low-hanging fruit use case, which could be like a simple internal co-pilot, like an organizational chatbot, a RAG solution, right? Using Azure OpenAI on your data, something like that, which will help you get to quick wins and show value as well. So, and also get your hands dirty and your employees can learn about generative AI. So that's the first thing. And the second thing I would say is like when you're going to production, thinking about latency and UX is very important. That's what I've realized, because if it just takes one or two bad experiences for your users to switch the platform. So latency and a well-designed UX, I think, are critical when you're moving to production.
That makes sense. So effectively, you're saying like it's a stepwise, right? Start hacking, get something, anything that works, and just feel it, and like, okay, how did this feel? Like, what is this about? And then take the next step on top of that.
And as you mentioned, Magnus, it's a quick moving field, like it's constantly changing. So reading
Yep.
blogs or watching videos is also a great way to educate yourself.
Fantastic. Well, thank you guys for being on the show today. I really appreciated this conversation. And I think it clarified and give some strategy and advice to a lot of our listeners. So thank you guys for being on the Cloud Show.
Yep. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And for the audience, I'll see you next time on the Cloud Show.